Revolution. The spark. Around 1764, Scottish inventor James Watt was hired to repair a new Coleman steam engine. Miners used these engines, invented decades earlier, to pump water out of flooded mines. What improved the steam engine's design, became much more efficient and affordable. In the following years, Watt and other inventors made even more improvement to a steam engine. For the first time, steam could be used to power all kinds of machines, from weaving looms to locomotives. Watt's steam engine was one of many advances that sparked the Industrial Revolution. So from the mid-1700s to the mid-1800s, new technology transformed Great Britain and eventually the world. The Industrial Revolution influenced every part of the people's daily life. It changed how people work, where they live, how far they could travel, what they wore, and even what foods they ate. The roots of revolution. The development of new technology was one of the most important causes of the Industrial Revolution. But there were others. The East India Company, trading company formed in England in 1600, was one of them. It had grown into a military and political power with a large private army. The East India Company imported cotton products from India. The products were cheap because Indian laborers won't pay much for their work. Cotton coal became extremely popular in Britain. In the mid-1700s, the East India Company took control of territories in India. Britain now had direct access to India's supplies of raw cotton. Britain began to import cheap cotton from India in order to produce finished goods even more cheaply at home. By the late 1700s, British control of overseas territory had expanded to include colonies in the West Indies, North and South America, and Canada. These territories provide other raw materials, including wool, silk, and lumber. Britain also had large supplies of natural resources important to industrialization, as coal and iron. British population had grown as a farmer found new ways to produce more food. At the same time, wealthy lords bought large amounts of public land once worked by small farmers. People could no longer grow their own food, had to move to cities to find work. The rise of the machines, textile production, making of cloth and clothing, was the biggest industry in the 1700s. It was also the first to be revolutionized by the new inventions. Before Industrial Revolution, clothing was usually made at home or in village workshops. Making cloth was often a family business. Family members divided the task of spinning yarn from cotton, flax, or wool, and was weaving cloth on a handloom. The process was slow and tedious, even for skilled workers. In the late 1700s, spinning and weaving became more efficient thanks to the series of new inventions. Richard Arkwright, an industrialist and inventor, developed a way to use the water wheel to drive a spinning machine that produced strong cotton thread. Arkwright's invention was too big for any workshop, so he built a large mill in Comfort, Derbyshire. Derbyshire. Comfort Mill soon employed hundreds of workers. Arkwright eventually built several more factories. Other textile manufacturers followed his example. The factory system. Factories are not only changed how goods were made, but also the nature of working life. The first factory was water-powered and needed to be located to close rivers. Steam power factories, however, could be built almost anywhere. Many were built around Manchester. In the north of England, Manchester had access to cheap coal via the Bridgewater Canal. Manchester's location near the coast made it easy to import raw materials and export finished products overseas. The new mills and factories led to a population boom. In 1773, Manchester had a population of about 25,000. By 1802, it had 52 mills and about 95,000 inhabitants. By 1851, it was a smoking city of over 300,000 with a new nickname, Cottonopolis. Inside, factories were usually noisy, cramped, dimly lit places where workers toiled between 12 and 16 hours per day, 6 days a week, and there was no paid vacation or 6 days and no safety regulation. Factory owners enforced strict rules, sometimes beat on the whip their employees, especially children. Workers could be fined for offenses such as whistling or opening a window. The factories used a process known as division of labor, with each part of the manufacturing process performed by a separate person. The system sped up the production, allowed factories owners to pay low wages because the workers need a little skill. Child labor. Children as young as 4 often work full-time in factories alongside their families. In the early 1800s, more than half of the workers in the British factories were under the age of 14. Factory owners paid children as little as one-tenth of what adults made. Some children did not receive any wages at all, working instead of room and board. Children could do jobs that adults were too big to do, such as crawling under the textile machine to pick up fallen thread. Injuries were common for both adults and children. Children also worked in coal mines, where there was constant danger from gas explosion and collapsing mine shafts. Children as young as 5 served as shepherds in mines, opening and closing doors to let the fresh air in. Older children and women pushed the poor heavy task of coal through dark, narrow tunnels. The British Parliament was forced to react to public outrage at these terrible working conditions. It passed a series of laws reducing the number of hours that children could work, raising the minimum working age. However, these laws were difficult to enforce. For many children, working in factories and mines were the only ways they could earn money for food and housing. Education. Before the 1800s, school was not free in Britain. Wealthy children were educated at home by the governess and tutors. Poor children could attend Sunday school organized by church or pay to go to small informal private school held in teachers' house. In 1833, the Factory Act ruled that children working in factories should receive 2 hours of education per day. Charity set up free schools, known as rag schools, working in class areas. New printing and paper making techniques make books and newspapers more available and affordable. And literacy increased. Innovation leads to innovation. Advance in one area led to advance in other. For example, the availability of cheap coal led to a faster method of producing cast iron. As iron became even more affordable, it used to make even more powerful tools and machines. Business needed a better means of transportation that can build canals and improve roads to carry heavy raw materials and uh, export finished goods. Engineer developed steam locomotive to haul coal. In 1825, British engineer George Stephenson and his son Robert built a railway line 25 miles long between Stockholm and Darlington. It was the first railway including a passenger car. Locomotive travel was one of the most exciting developments of the Industrial Revolution. For some, though, it was terrifying. A few critics believed that humans' body might melt at high speeds. Many industries benefit from the new development, chemical production. Scientists developed ways to mass produce chemicals such as sulfuric acid and sodium carbonate. The textile industry used in sulfuric acid to bleach and dye fabric was also used to remove rust from iron and fertilizer. Soda ash were needed to make glass, soap, and paper. Portland cement, developed in 1824, was an important advancement in building, construction, and transportation. Portland cement was used to build a Thames tunnel, the world's first underwater tunnel which opened in 1843. Beyond Great Britain, the Industrial Revolution gradually spread, first to mainland Europe and then to North America. The British were understandably reluctant to share their invention, wealth, and power. Although exporting machines and techniques was forbidden, there was too much money to be made to keep the new technology secret for long. English-born William Cockerell, an expert iron maker, brought new technology to Belgium and his son opened an iron works there. From Belgium, the new methods spread to France, Germany, and the rest of Europe. Samuel Slater studied the design of textile machines from the move from Britain to the United States, where he built these machines from memory. This earned him the nickname Slater the Traitor. In 1793, he built a spinning mill in Rhode Island, helped launch the American Industrial Revolution. Legacy. Many historians agree that most people's overall standard of living improved during the Industrial Revolution. Average income increased, and for the first time, people could choose from a selection on affordable, mass-produced clothing, household items, and other goods. There were many negative effects though. Fossil fuel and chemical use in manufacturing polluted the air and water. Poor people, especially children, live and work in harsh conditions. Big cities became overcrowded and dirty. As the Industrial Revolution progressed, some of the problems improved. Cities developed better sanitation and sewage systems, government passed laws to better people's working lives. Workers joined together to form unions, fight for their fair treatment, eventually extending to other groups, including women. Ultimately, the Industrial Revolution laid the groundwork for modern society, as we know it all for the convenience from your phone to call that we rely on today.
Good job! practice.